Shortly before his death, Lincoln had a dream that he wandered into a funeral service and demanded to know who had died. When he peered into the coffin, he found his own dead body. Lincoln got over 10,000 death threats during his presidency that he kept in his desk in a folder labeled Assassination. About a year before Lincoln's assassination, his hat was shot off his head while riding back to DC after visiting a soldier's house. No one knows who shot the bullet, and Lincoln even joked about it the next day. Edwin Booth, the brother of Lincoln's assassin, actually saved Lincoln's son Robert from an oncoming train by pulling him off the tracks. John Wilkes Booth's original plan was to kidnap Lincoln while he was leaving a Civil War hospital in DC, but Lincoln changed his plans in the last minute and Booth had to cancel. Booth's new plan included the murder of President Lincoln, Vice President Andrew Johnson, Secretary of State William Seward, and Union General Ulysses S. Grant. One assassin entered the Secretary of State's home and stabbed him repeatedly in his own bedroom. The only reason he survived the encounter was because he was wearing a medical surgical collar. The Vice President, on the other hand, was much more fortunate because his would-be assassin changed his mind at the last minute and went on a drinking binge. The night of his assassination, Lincoln did have a bodyguard, but once the play started, he got bored and decided to go next door for a drink. Lincoln actually signed a bill to create the Secret Service the night before he was assassinated. But at that point in history, it was actually created to fight counterfeiters rather than protecting the president. It wasn't until after McKinley got shot that it changed its course. Booth chose Ford's Theater because he was a well-known actor and could go in and out as he pleased. Booth knew the play Our American Cousin very well and planned to shoot Lincoln during a part that he knew would draw a big laugh and potentially cover the sound of the gunshot. Grant and his wife were supposed to be in the box with Lincoln, but his wife decided she didn't want to go. So Major Rathbone and his wife joined instead, and he had his arms sliced to the bone while trying to apprehend Booth. That same Major Rathbone later stabbed his wife to death and spent the rest of his life in an insane asylum. After shooting Lincoln and stabbing Rathbone, Booth jumped over the balcony railing, broke his leg on impact, and then theatrically yelled "Sic Semper Tyrannis," which translates to "thus always to tyrants," and ran out the back door. Despite having a broken leg, Booth went on the run for 12 days until he was chased into a barn in Virginia and was fatally shot by a former Union soldier. When they moved Lincoln across the street to save his life, they had to lay his body diagonally because his bed was too small for his 6'4" frame. All of Booth's conspirators were eventually caught and hanged for treason, including Mary Surratt, who some believe to be an innocent innkeeper. This is the only proven conspiracy to assassinate a president in U.S. history, and Mary was the first woman to be publicly executed by the federal government.